Hey everyone! Welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unwrap the mysteries of big business and leave you with the juicy truth instead of just numbers on a page. Today, we're diving into Empery Digital Incorporated's latest report. And let me tell you, it has got a few things that piqued our interest, especially when it comes to what they're doing with their own stock.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty, if you love getting the real story behind corporate moves, make sure you are subscribed. And hey, we've got a growing community over on Discord where we chat about this stuff all the time. Link is in the description. So, Empery Digital Incorporated just dropped a report that is a mix of routine updates and some pretty interesting financial maneuvers.
Think of it like this. They're giving us a peek behind the curtain of their operations. And more importantly, how they're managing their company's shares.
The report is officially dated the 20th of October, 2025. But the real action we're looking at kicks off a few days earlier, on the 17th of October. It is like a financial snapshot taken midweek, telling us what was happening with their shares right around that time.
This is a company that is making waves, and their stock is something investors are definitely watching. They're registered in Delaware, and their New York Stock Exchange ticker symbol, which you'll see them referred to as EMP, traded on NASDAQ.
Now, let's get to the heart of this filing, which is all about what Empery Digital is doing with its own stock. They've been busy buying back shares, and this report gives us a clear picture of just how much they've repurchased.
As of the 17th of October 2025, Empery Digital has bought back a whopping 8,139,479 shares of its own stock. This is part of a larger plan, a $150 million program they announced earlier. Buying back shares is a big deal. It basically means the company is taking its own stock off the market. Why do they do this? Well, it might mean that management believes their stock is undervalued, so they're snapping it up as a good investment. It can also reduce the total number of shares available, which, in theory, can increase the earnings per share for the remaining shareholders. Think of it like a pie. If you cut the pie into fewer slices, each slice becomes bigger.
And they weren't just buying them cheap. They paid an average of $7.55 per share, which includes all the little costs that come with these transactions. That tells us management was willing to pay a pretty penny to get these shares back, reinforcing the idea that they see value in their own stock at this price point.
After all this buying, they still have a significant chunk of change left to continue this program. Roughly $89 million is still on the table for more share buybacks. This means they're committed to this strategy, and we can expect them to continue reducing the number of outstanding shares.
So, after all these repurchases, the total number of shares folks own out there, what we call shares outstanding, is now around 43.2 million. It is important to note that this figure includes something called pre-funded warrants. Now, what are those? Think of them like a ticket you buy today to get a share later. But you've already paid for a good chunk of it. They eventually become common stock.
So they matter for the total ownership picture.
Beyond the share buybacks, Empery Digital also put out an updated corporate presentation. This is essentially a slideshow that companies use to talk about their business, their strategy, and their performance to investors and the public. When they file it with the SEC, it is like they're officially saying, hey, this is how we're presenting ourselves right now.
It is a good place to look for clues about where they're headed and what they want people to focus on.
And to top it off, they also released a press announcement on the same day. This press release likely fleshes out the details found in the main report, especially regarding those stock buybacks. Companies use these announcements to get important news out quickly and in a way that is easy for everyone to understand, often highlighting the positive aspects of their actions. Looking at this filing,
Empery Digital seems to be actively managing its shareholder base and sending a strong signal about its confidence in the company's future value. They're reducing the supply of their stock, which, when demand stays the same or increases, tends to push the price up. It is a classic move that can be either a sign of smart financial strategy or a way to artificially buff up per-share metrics. The big question for investors is always whether these actions align with long-term growth and profitability. Buying back stock can be wise if the company has excess cash and sees its shares as a bargain.
but if it comes at the expense of investing in future growth or leaves the company with too little cash for unexpected challenges, it might not be such a good move. In Empery Digital's case, with $89 million still available for buybacks, they have the financial flexibility to continue this strategy. Whether they should is the million-dollar question.
One thing to keep in mind is that this report doesn't go into the deep diving financial statements that you'd find in a 10K or a quarterly 10Q. This is a Form 8, which is typically for announcing material events that investors should know about right away. So, while we get the scoop on the share buybacks in the presentation, we're not getting a full P&L or balance sheet here.
This is more of a snapshot of significant corporate actions. Overall, Empery Digital appears to be taking a proactive approach to managing its share structure. The significant number of shares repurchased suggests a belief from within the company that their stock is a good investment.
The remaining funds available for future buybacks indicate a sustained commitment to this strategy. The inclusion of the corporate presentation and press release in this filing means they're being transparent about these moves and want investors to be aware. So, what is our take? Empery Digital is making deliberate moves with its stock.
The buybacks are substantial, showing confidence and aiming to boost shareholder value by reducing share count. They're clearly signaling that they think their stock is worth more than the market might be giving it credit for, and they have the resources to back that up. The main risk here is whether this strategy distracts from core business growth or if it is a well-executed capital allocation plan. For now,
it looks like a move designed to potentially benefit existing shareholders by making their stakes more valuable over time. Alright, that is our breakdown of Empery Digital's latest filing. What is your take on these stock buybacks and what they signal for the company's future? Do you think it is a smart move or just a way to jazz up the numbers? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.